Hey, 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 beautiful, blessed ones. It's your Triple G here, Donna Salee, certified transformational life and dream builder coach, public motivational speaker, workshop and book club facilitator, soon to be best-selling author, and the founder of Life Destiny Solutions, where the life you're living connects with the destiny your soul desires to express. I'm so excited to welcome you here to episode 5 of Women, Wisdom, and Wine, which is a weekly live segment where women gather virtually to have candid conversations about their experience with life, healing, growth, and transformation. Because I truly believe that if you are alive, you have wisdom to share that can help someone else. So I just want to remind you, if you are joining on Facebook Live, please make sure that you go before you join, or you can go out and come back in. Make sure that you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so that we can see your name on the comments and on your questions. We want to engage you. We want to keep the participation going, okay? So you know what I like to do. Those of you who have been here before, you know I like to know what wine or beverage are you sipping on tonight? After all, this is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. And so I'd like to know what you're sipping. Now, I threw a little monkey wrench on it. You know, usually I like my red wine. Tonight, I'm having a little vodka and ginger ale. And I'm having that because my sister that I'm bringing on, she knows about those vodka nights. So she said she was going to tell my business when she got on here. So I'm telling hers first. Okay. All right. Chat, type in the chat what you are sipping on. And she says she's sipping on sangria. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. Are y'all ready? Well, here we go. All right. We are going to get started. I have a very special guest tonight. She is my sister, my day one, my carry secrets to the grave. This is my girl, Miss Tiffany Castillo. And Tiffany is 44 years old and she resides in Covington, Georgia. She is a U.S. Army veteran and currently works at the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff corporal. She holds a bachelor's degree in social and criminal justice and a master's degree in criminal justice with a focus on homeland security. How important that is in these days and times. She has been in law enforcement for almost 12 years and enjoys serving her community. In her spare time, she enjoys alone time, shopping, reading, and enjoying life with family and friends. Let's put our virtual hands together and welcome my sister, Miss Tiffany Castillo. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Donna, sister. You told my business. I'm going to tell yours.
Oh, Lord. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. I didn't tell the deeds. I'm so glad to have you here tonight. And I see that you said you were sipping on a little sangria, but
yes,
we have some very serious topics to share and talk about tonight. So I've had several people tell me they are looking forward to this segment because we're going to be discussing some of your experience with depression, anxiety, and self care. So, these are very important topics, I think, for us to discuss.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So we're going to get started. What I want you to do to get started tonight is just tell us a little bit about your experience with depression and anxiety and how you came to the realization or knowledge of what it really was. And if they're separate instances, that's fine. We can talk about each, but just kind of share some background.
First, I would like to say thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here to speak on such a intimate topic. Speak on topics like this, you have to be transparent. So thank you for that, for giving me this platform. And also, I would like to wish my mother a happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Mom.
mommy. Um, so to get started, to answer your question, I didn't know what depression and anxiety was until I lost my brother. Oh nine, and you're very, very familiar with that because, as a matter of fact, we were roommates at the time when he passed away. And even then, when he passed away, I still didn't have a full understanding of it. I knew that I was depressed, but I didn't realize to what extent it was. And when I realized what depression and anxiety really was, is after I got into law enforcement and I would respond to calls and I would respond to mental health calls, and people are in a mental health crisis. And you have people who are in domestic situations and they suffer depression and anxiety. And that's when I really started to understand what it was. But I was still kind of like, well, anxiety? I don't have anxiety.
Mhm,
That's when
mhm.
my brother passed away, but I don't know, not me, not Tiffany.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so we tend to have that proverbial S on our chest where we can conquer the world. You know,
yes,
whatever we're tasked with whatever we're faced with every day, daily, we deal with it one way or another.
yes,
And it wasn't until 2016 when I had landed my dream job with Department of Juvenile Justice. And you know me, Donna, I'm not a yes person. I'm very grounded,
yes,
my values, my integrity, everything. And never would I imagine um, losing my job for doing my job, if that makes sense.
yes.
And one day out of nowhere, I was just thrust into a situation where I had everything, and the next day it was gone. I got called into uh, a meeting thinking that I was going to do a presentation for my higher ups, and in all actuality, I was walking into a termination meeting and didn't even know it. All because I didn't sign a memorandum, they said, but I did
Yes.
sign a memorandum. What happened was I had started uncovering a lot of wrongdoing, and I wasn't the type of person to just say yes. They had came out with this 6-page memorandum, and me being in law enforcement already for X amount of years, no, I wasn't just going to sign it. Let me read it first, and then I'll sign it. Well, they
Right.
didn't
That's
like
right.
that.
Mhm,
They didn't like that. So
mhm.
I'm walking into this, and I'm thinking it's a presentation, and I see the chief over CID, Criminal Investigations Division. I see my supervisor sitting by the window. I see a representative from Human Resources, and then I see one of the deputy chiefs in front of me. And he says to me, Ms. Castillo, uh, we don't think this is going to work. We don't think you're a good fit for this agency. So we're giving you the option to resign or be terminated. And I'm just sitting there looking like, what?
What?
what did I do?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he said, well, you didn't, you told your supervisor you weren't signing a memorandum. And I'm like, well, it's here. But anyway, I ended up, and this is what tends to be one of my downfalls. I can be very stubborn. And
No,
so
not
I
you.
said to him, no, right. And so I said to him, I'm not resigning.
Hmm.
I'm not quitting. Job for me, so you're gonna have to terminate.
Right.
And that's what they did. I had just built my house from the ground up. My credit score was almost at a 700. Had every credit card in the world that I wanted. Had the car
Hmm.
that I wanted. I worked so hard to get where I was at, and in the blink of an eye, it was gone.
It's gone.
It was gone.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a situation where I was at a crossroad in my life. And I'm like, Lord, I did everything that I was supposed to do. Help me to understand what's going on. Because I don't get it. I don't help
Mhm.
me to understand because I did everything right. I did everything. I did my job with the utmost integrity, the utmost morals and values. Didn't cut corners. Everybody who was under me, I made sure they were okay. Help me to understand. I need clarity and understanding of what's going on. Well, in his perfect timing, not mine, you know, he'll let me know what's going on.
Right.
But I'm bringing you through the storm for a reason. And
Hmm.
unbeknown to me, I didn't know what that storm, what I was going through the storm for. But I lost everything. And I'm transparent enough to say, I was literally at one of the lowest points in my life. I
Yes.
thought losing my brother was the lowest that I could get.
Yeah.
But this right here, this was the lowest that I could get. And so I found myself depressed every day. I was isolating myself from everybody. I didn't want to talk on the phone. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to get dressed and do my hair and do my makeup. And if I did go out, I threw on some sweatpants and a t-shirt and some house shoes, and I didn't care anymore because I had started applying to every job. I knew I had the experience. I knew I had the education. And every job that I applied for, I got to know every job. And I felt like I had been blackballed. And before all of this had happened, I had saw my sheriff and we were in training. And I told him what was going on. He said, well, Tiffany, he said, if you ever need to come back, we're here. And I said, oh, okay, Sheriff, thank you so much. I didn't take him up on that until 2 years after that. And he didn't
Hmm.
cut no corners with me. I had to go through everything all over again, just like a new hire.
Yeah.
I
Yes. Yes.
didn't get no favors or nothing, but we'll get to that, later on.
Yes.
And I had got to a point where I would wake up every morning and I would do the same thing. Absolutely nothing. I turn on the TV, I lay in bed, take a shower, get back in bed. I might go back to sleep, you know, but I'm in the bed watching the ID channel all day long. I didn't have no drive anymore. I
Yes.
didn't care, you
Yes.
know. And one day I literally had an epiphany. I was like, get up, get up and start writing.
Yes. Let's start
I'm
writing.
like, start writing. I'm not no writer, God. What you mean writing?
And I'm
Like
not in
he's
school right now. I'm not writing no papers for school right now.
came shortly after though,
Hmm.
because shortly
Hmm.
after I enrolled in my master's program. But I
Yeah.
literally rolled out of bed that morning and I sat at my computer because my desk was next to my bed and I started writing. But leading up to that, I had so many downfalls. Um, I had a nervous breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
You know, women who are suffering from depression and anxiety, stigma that society put on us. And women, not just women, but people will suffer in silence for fear of what other people will say or think, or how they'll get judged, you know. And so I dealt with it for so long until one day I just couldn't take it no more. We're driving
Yeah.
up 85 North, getting on an on ramp. And I can't remember what happened, but it was something very minute that happened that caused me to go into I, this nervous. I had a nervous breakdown. I was driving 10 and 2, holding the steering wheel, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And I said, Lord, I cannot take it anymore. I can't take it. And I'm holding the steering wheel. So I drive home, and when I got home, I went and locked myself in a room, and I called the veterans hotline. And I said, nothing is wrong with me. I just need somebody to talk to. Just hear me
Yes.
out. I don't want to kill myself. I'm not trying to kill nobody. I would never do that. I just need somebody to talk to right now. I said, because I have no drive, no desire, nothing. I
Yes.
don't care if God allows me to stay on this earth or if he takes me. I don't care.
Yes.
And I talked to them for about an hour. And she said, Tiffany, she said, I need you to go to the hospital. I just need to know that you're okay. And I said, no, I'm, no,
In true Tiffany fashion. No.
no, I'm not going to no hospital because I know what y'all about to try to do to me. No. So finally, we're on the phone for an hour and I'm snotting and crying. And she said, please, Tiffany, I said, all right, okay, I'm gonna go. So I get in the car and I'm driving up 285 now to the VA hospital. And I don't know. I was on the phone with my best friend and I said, Nikki, I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. I was driving in the far left lane and I'm screaming at her and I said, I can't take it. I can't take it. I'm tired. I'm tired. I said, all the years that I've been there for everybody and nobody is here for me at this exact moment when I need. I'm tired.
Yes.
And I will never ever forget her words. She said to me, Tiffany, you have been there for all of us. You have been there for everybody. She said, it may not seem right to say this right now. She said, but we need you. We need you. I need you.
Yes.
And I just started screaming again. I said, I don't care if I hit this wall. I said, I'll never hurt myself, but I don't care if I hit this wall. And I don't care if somebody hit me from behind. I don't care. And she's like, no, no, Tiffany, no. And so I finally get to the VA hospital and I'm in the parking garage. And you've been to the VA hospital plenty of
Yes.
times.
Plenty of times.
I'm in the parking lot and all the cars are gone. It's after hours. Everybody is gone. It's just my car is the only car in the parking lot. And for once in my life, I sat there crying, crying, crying. I opened the door and I threw up. And for once in my life, I just wanted somebody, anybody, to walk in that parking garage and say, I got you. I'm here. Are you okay? And nobody came. It was just me and God.
Yes.
But you know what I realized? That's exactly how he wanted it to be.
Yes. Yep.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
So I sat in my car for about 20 minutes and I said, God, just give me the strength to walk from my car to the emergency room because I felt like I was having like an out of body experience. I couldn't make it. And finally, a voice in my head said, let's go. Get yourself together and let's go now. It took me about 10 minutes just to get from my car to the
To the
door to the emergency room.
yeah.
And when I got in there and finally got to the back, my blood pressure was sky high. My heart rate was sky high. They're like, oh my gosh, she's going to have a stroke and a heart attack. And, you know,
Yes.
so the psychologist came in there. No, I'm sorry. One of the nurses came in there. She was an older black female. You know, you could tell her name was probably Big Ma at home. And this who you gonna listen to.
This big
Okay,
mama.
well, she looked like them old school grandmas. What I say goes. So I built a rapport with her, and she, all right, baby, the psychologist is gonna come here and talk to you. I'm gonna be back. And I said, okay. So the psychologist came in, girl. He was so fine. I was like, oh, oh man, hair running, hair all over the place. I was like, hey.
You weren't gone far enough to notice that though, right? I know that's right. Ain't no wrong with some eye candy, even in the toughest of times.
Right. So he was like, he said, Miss Castillo, I got a little bit of background on what's going on. Um, he said, what I'm about to say to you, I just want you to listen to me closely. He said, I need you to stay here. I need you to get out of the environment that you're in, to give your body and your mind time to rest. And I didn't understand what he was saying because I had never heard it in that context. And I'm sitting there thinking, why I need to rest my mind and body in the hospital, you know?
Well,
So
you've been resting it at home. I know you're thinking I've been in the bed. I've been
in the bed, not doing
right,
nothing.
right, right.
So, so I said, okay, I'll stay. But I'm thinking they about to let me go stay on the third floor somewhere in OB. They got an extra bed somewhere over there. Okay, cool. I'm happy. I'm gonna get some rest finally. I'm gonna relax my mind. And then they take me in a room and they hand me a yellow pair of pants and a yellow shirt and some green socks. And I said, who's that for? They were like, we need you to change. We need you to change into this, you know, so that we can send you up on your floor. And I said, I was in law enforcement. I've taken plenty of people to the hospital. I know what these colors mean. You ain't about to put me on nobody's fourth floor. You done lost your mind. I said, you know what? As a matter of fact, I walk myself in here. I'm gonna walk my ass back out. Excuse my language, everybody that's on here. I'm gonna walk back
I'm
up
gonna
out of
walk
here.
right on
Y'all
out of
can
here.
keep, y'all can't keep me in here. I'm not here involuntarily. I drove myself in. I'm gonna drive myself back home. So I went back to the room I was in and I started getting my clothes together. I had my little scarf. You know, I used to keep my scarves done. Had
Right.
my scarf on and everything. Here come Big Mom. She said, where you think you going? I said, home. I'm going home. She said, no, you're not. She said, I need you to stay here. I need you to stay here. She said, yes, that's where they're sending you, but that don't mean you're crazy. That doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. You
Yeah.
need to rest your body. Look at your heart rate. Look at your blood pressure.
Right.
We need you somewhere where we know that you can't get to nobody and nobody can get to you. By
Yes.
telephone, they can't come see you. You have absolutely no choice but to rest your body.
Yes.
And in that second, I had to digress. And I said, maybe she's right. I said, okay, I'll stay. But I'm not putting that shirt on. I'm going to keep my shirt on and I'm going to wear my scarf. Well, you can't keep your scarf. You just said that I'm not crazy and I ain't going up there because I'm crazy. I ain't going to hang myself with it. It's cold and I'm going to keep my scarf. That's the
Right.
only way I'm going to go.
Right.
Needless to say, they let me keep my scarf.
Mhm.
But anyway, I ended up going on the mental health floor. And no, not because I was crazy, because I was far from crazy.
Right.
I just needed to learn what self-care was. That was the beginning of learning what self-care was. I had
Yeah.
to take care of Tiffany by any means necessary. And I stayed there for 7 days. And I have to tell you, that was probably the best 7 days of my life. It was a lot of older veterans up there. There was an 85-year-old veteran up there. He had been up there for months and he would not talk to anybody. He wouldn't open his mouth. He wouldn't even look at you. They would put his food in front of him. He wouldn't say nothing to him. He would take his food and he would arrange it how he wanted it on his tray. He would eat it like that. He wouldn't speak to nobody. By the time I left there, I had that man singing karaoke and up out of his
Why does
wheelchair
that not
dancing.
surprise me?
When the nurses and them left at the end of the night, maybe we was in there on top of the chairs. He was dancing. I had him in there trying to twerk, and it was, in the daytime. In the daytime, he we would do puzzles together.
Yes. Yes.
So I needed that. I say all this to say, my story. I needed that because when I got home, I had a different outlook.
Well,
That's
that
when I
brings me
enrolled.
to this question. That brings me to this question. Let me just ask, what was your mindset before this and after this as it pertained to depression and anxiety and self-care? How did your mindset change, especially the depression and anxiety?
Well, it changed a lot because remember I told you I had that epiphany where God told me to get up and start writing. Well, that's what I did. And so I started writing, and a lot of you guys that are on here are familiar with the 90-Day Girlfriend's Guide. And that's what I wrote. I wrote a life planner. Um, and I put my experiences in this life planner. Everything that I went to, everything that I dealt with when it came to depression and anxiety. And I still didn't understand what anxiety was. Let me tell you when I
Mhm.
realized what that was. My
Yeah.
sister had came and moved here from California. And me and her were close already, but we became very close when she moved here. And I'll never forget Thanksgiving night, 2016. Yeah, 2016. We were sitting at the table and she said to me, Sissy, I think I'm gonna move back to.
Uh-oh. She
I
gonna move.
started hyperventilating. I was like, why are you leaving me? Why are you leaving me during a time like this when you know I need you the most? I can't believe you're leaving me. You can't leave me. Janelle, you can't leave me. And she was like, I know, Sissy, but there are just things that I need to do. And I had a panic attack.
Now,
I
where
had a
was
panic
this in
attack.
relation to your stay at the VA hospital? Like, what was the
Um,
time?
was before. This was before.
Okay.
I went to the VA hospital January 2017.
Okay.
This
Okay.
happened November 2016.
Okay.
EMS had to come, everything. And I felt like I was having a heart attack, but I was having an anxiety attack and didn't realize it. And then that's when they explained to me what anxiety is. And, that any little thing can trigger anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But enough about my personal story. You know, I wrote the 90-Day Girlfriend's Guide. It's called
Yeah.
Find Yourself in 90 Days, the Girlfriend's Guide to Self-Progression. And I wrote this planner. I created this planner because I knew if I'm going through this, there are other women out there that are going through the same thing. And when I
Absolutely.
created the page, I had so many people inboxing me telling me what they were going through, but they were afraid to tell their story. They were afraid of their testimony. And they were just saying, thank you. Thank you for being transparent enough to share your story and allowing us to see what you went through, you know, because I can relate. They
Yes.
would say, I can relate to your testimony. I can relate to your story. And for the people that are watching, there may be days where you feel like the world is against you and nobody understands you. I'm not telling nobody my story because I don't want nobody to judge me. I don't want nobody going behind my back to talk about me. Well, I had to adapt that saying, what other people say about you, none of your
It's
business.
not your business.
Ain't none of your business.
Mm-mm.
You got to focus on what path God has put you on. You know,
Yes. Yes.
people will get to a place where they do hit rock bottom and they feel like they have no other place to go. And they feel like no matter who they talk to, no matter any of that, it's working. None of it's working for them. But
Yes.
what you have to do is take a step back and you have to realize where you're at, where is it that you want to be? You know, I started doing simple things like when God spoke to my spirit, I started writing everything down, which I already did because I'm a very organized person.
Right.
But I put my thoughts on paper, not knowing that that would lead to me creating this life planner.
Yes.
I'm looking at some of the comments that
Oh,
are coming in
coming through.
on StreamYard.
Yes.
Yes. But
So, well, let
I-
me ask you about this because you have a unique perspective, not just because of what you have been through in your life, but you mentioned it in the beginning, being in law enforcement. And I think that just that alone, we need to have you on later on in the year to, talk about some of those things surrounding law enforcement. I think that, there's a lot that we can talk about with
yeah.
that. But being in law enforcement and receiving, calls for people who are in mental health distress. Um, and
Hmm.
I'm assuming that when you were going through what you were going through, you were like, but I'm not like that. So it's
Right.
very hard for us to have, maybe something to compare it to. So I guess what I'm really trying to ask is, how did you begin to accept in your heart and mind that, what, there is a process to this, and everybody is not like the calls we receive, everybody is not suicidal, everybody is not, ready to kill someone, like you said. There are people who are very much in their right mind that are dealing with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, whatever it may be, that don't know how to talk about it, where to turn to. So how did you work all of that out in your own heart and mind being in law enforcement?
Well, first of all, remember I talked about that proverbial S on your chest. So being in law enforcement, that's a lot of the reason why I kept what I was going through to myself at first. That's why I isolated so many people, because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people in DeKalb County, the metro Atlanta area. And I didn't want people to be like, oh, well, y'all know Tiffany, she went through this and that, she going through this and that. A rumor gets started really quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
being in law enforcement, I kept that to myself. I didn't want nobody judging me. I didn't want nobody, I didn't want nobody talking about me. But then I realized this is not my fight. This is not my fight. This is much bigger than me. And you hear people say all the time, walk by faith and not by sight. And it sounds so cliche because we say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally had to walk by faith and not by sight. I had to trust that God had me. Lean not on my own understanding,
Yes.
but his word that he was
Yeah.
going to bring me through. He was going to sustain me. And I had to submit to God and say, Lord, you're absolutely right. I can't handle this. Whatever your purpose is for me, I submit. It's all yours. It's all
Yes.
yours. Use me how you see fit.
Yes.
Oh, this brings it. And a lot of people that are on here watching don't know what I've been through. They're watching, they're hearing this for the very first time,
Right.
you know. And when I did that, when I tell you my life turned around, I'll never forget. I was still very close with a lot of people that worked at the sheriff's office. And I was speaking to one of them one day. He said, Tiffany, sheriff wants you to call him. And I said, why? He said, just call him. So I called him and he said, hey, I heard you was talking about coming back. And I said, yeah, I thought about it, sheriff. I said, but I had to file bankruptcy. I said, I know how you feel about, people their finances. I said, do you remember how when you hired me the first time and I told you how I would fix whatever I had going on with my finances? He said, I do. I said, and remember, I did it. And I ended up building my house. I said, if I come back, I promise you, I'm gonna push through that and I'm gonna fix it. I said, all right, Tiffany. I said, well, I'm gonna have him call you. He said, you're gonna have to go through everything all over again. But if this is what you want, and that's exactly what I did.
Yes.
And I'll never forget in my interview when I came back, um, there was one question that one of the sergeants he asked, did they have any questions for me? And it was one question that one of the sergeants asked. And he said, I just have one question. What took you so long?
Yes.
And God had
To
a
come
whole
back home.
purpose.
To come back home. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I've been, home.
Yes. Yes.
As soon as I got back, I got a deputy of the quarter. And the first quarter that I was back there, um, I had got 2 awards from the community and didn't even know where they had came from. I didn't even know where they came from. I went back, I put in work out on the road, I worked my butt off. Then I got promoted to another position. And then I took the corporal's test and got promoted to corporal. And God just continued to move.
Yes.
He just continued to move. And as I reflect, I realized that's all I needed to do. That entire time when I was going through what I was going through, I was trying to carry that burden. I was trying to carry the load,
Yes.
knowing doggone well that wasn't my load to carry.
That's right.
God will tell us, I will bring you to your knees. If I'm trying to talk to you and get your attention and you won't listen to me,
Yeah.
I'm going to get it some kind of way.
He gets it. He will get it.
And he brought me to my knees.
Yes.
He brought me to a place where I couldn't rely on nobody but him.
That's right.
And that's when he said, now I got you. Now that I got your attention, come on, let's work.
Right. Now I can work some things out.
Let me work in your favor.
Yes. So let me
Why? Why
ask
I
you.
always got to do this
Yeah.
for you to listen to
Yeah, you know why. So, this was interesting. What Denise Riley Murray just said. You cared more about the people than the title of the job. You did what God wanted you to
Yes.
do. And that's so important. She's talking about, with the community. I'm assuming she's talking about, with the community awards and things like that. You know, um, I guess what I want to ask you is, because I know we're got about 10 more minutes or so. But what I want to ask you is about your self-care. Like, what do you do now? What did you learn about self-care other than, having to take that week away? What else did you learn about self-care through this?
Let me say this. When you are so used to being that go-to person, that person that everybody goes to, that person we're there for everybody, you become accustomed to that.
Mhm.
Anything outside of that norm, it ain't right. It don't feel
It
right.
doesn't feel right.
So when it comes
Mhm.
to care and time for you to take care of yourself, you don't know how to do it. That's
Mhm.
new to you. Me?
Mhm.
Take care of me? How?
Yeah.
How do I take care of me? And that was my issue. That was my problem. The first thing that I had to start doing, and a lot of people may not realize this, is saying no. No.
I
People
knew
who
that's
are on
what
here
you
that
were
are
going
my
to say.
friends, they probably seen the video that I posted back a couple of months ago. No,
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not a confrontational person when it comes to matters of the heart. So when it came to matters of the heart and saying no, I would avoid it because I didn't want any conflict. I didn't want any issues. Even if it put me in a bind or put me in a situation where, where I was in a bind, but I had to first learn how to say no.
Yes.
And then after that, I had to realize if you ain't here, if you don't take care of yourself, how you gonna take care of anybody else? And
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't know is I had a mini stroke back in August of 2020, the TIA. And that opened my eyes right there. That right there was my sign. You might want to start taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then guess what? I can bring you home. But Lord, I ain't ready to
Mhm.
go home yet. I'm gonna take care of myself. And I started doing little things. I
Yes.
again would write down the things that I love to do, things that made me happy. And that's what I would start doing. So every time I got paid, I would put away a little bit of money. Just, if I wanted to go get my nails done, my hair done, me and my cousin, we love to go get massages at Treat Your Feet. We love having girls' day out once a month.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
those
Mhm.
are the type of things that I would do. Start out small. Do things that make you happy. And take a step back and ask yourself, what makes me happy? Because I didn't know what made me happy. I had to ask myself that. And when
Yeah.
I learned what made me happy, then that's when I began to practice. I have
Mhm.
alone time. I pray in solitude. I talk to God like he right here sitting next to me, like he on this show. We
That's
talk.
right. That's right. That's right.
I
That's right.
have
That's
my
right.
little signals. I have a closet. Have you ladies heard? Do y'all people having a prayer room? That's my closet. That's my prayer room.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just the little things that you have to do. But you have to
Yeah.
realize, most importantly, that it is okay to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Listen to me when I say, do I need to get in this camera? It is okay to
Unapologetically.
take care of yourself unapologetically.
Yeah.
Because I used to feel so guilty when I would do something that concerned Tiffany, or there was somebody there that made me feel bad for doing something for Tiffany.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Tiffany needed you. You wasn't there for Tiffany.
That's right. That's right.
That's
That's
when you
right.
learn to love yourself. That's when you learn to love yourself. You know what makes you
Mhm.
happy and you do what makes you happy. And you don't feel
Two things
guilty.
two things I want to say. One is I want you ladies to know, first of all, anybody who's out there suffering in silence, it's this is 2021. It's time out for suffering in silence.
Mm-hmm.
It's time out. If you don't have someone you can talk to in your circle, I believe in therapy. I believe in there's coaches, there somebody out there is there to listen. But I want to say
And you
no is a complete sentence. Okay?
know,
No is a complete sentence.
okay,
And
period.
I have my struggles with no as well. So I have to remind myself, I'm telling you self talk that Donna does. No is a complete sentence. And when I start feeling bad, I remind myself that, you know what? I am just as important as they are. When it comes to
Yep.
God, I am just as important as that person that is feeling that they need me is.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in
Yes.
mind. The other thing I was going to say is that um, when it comes to depression and anxiety, if you feel yourself in that place for too long, we all have blah, there's a difference between feeling blah and depression. We all have days. That's okay. But when you feel yourself getting in that cycle, notice what you're noticing and get the help you need. Reach out to someone to help you find the help you need. We need to support one another. And so I just wanted to make those couple of points. And one more thing that I thought about, Tiffany, is you mentioned, because I'm an Army veteran as well. We have other veterans on this show that I know of, and in the audience. So I really want to bring home the fact that you were able to get some help at the VA. Veterans do not, I know that there's things in the news about all the craziness, and maybe the VA doesn't have VA in Atlanta has had a bad rap, over the years. But the thing is that they are there to help you, and you
I want to say
deserve
this.
that help.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to say this about the VA. When it comes to their veterans, they don't play no games,
Mhm.
because they called the police where I lived and asked them to go to my house to make sure that I was on my way to Atlanta VA and that I was okay. And my mother and my aunt later told me they would not leave my house until they knew that I was okay. So the police called the VA to make sure they had to call the VA back, because the VA kept calling, like, where is she? It's been an hour and
Yes, I love
she
that.
ain't here yet. Well,
Yes.
it took an hour for me to get there, but they made sure I got where I was at and that I was okay. Something
Yes.
as minute as that. And then the police wouldn't even leave until they knew that I was okay,
Yes.
you know. And another thing I want to say is people who are suffering from depression and anxiety, like I said, it's a stigma. And people are embarrassed and it makes them not want to talk to anybody, and it leads to things like suicide or them hurting other people, whatever. Don't ever be embarrassed about your testimony.
Yes.
Don't ever, I'm going to say this again, don't ever be embarrassed about your testimony. Ever, ever. Because
Yes.
I always say my testimony goes into my book of life. And my
Yes.
testimony are chapters of my life. And I'm going to make it a New York Times bestseller.
Yes. Yes. And I,
So don't
yes.
ever be embarrassed about what you're going through, ever. Because your story is not anybody else's story. What
Yes.
you're going through is not what anybody else is going through. It's your story. It's your testimony. What's for you is for you. And that's what God wants you to go through. And He's bringing you through it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And understand that you are never in it alone, ever. And I had to realize that because I was a private person when it came to private issues. Only the people closest to me knew what was going on with me. And I felt like I
Right.
had the answers to everything and that I could fix
Mm-hmm.
everything by myself. But again,
Mm-hmm.
God showed me otherwise.
Yes. Yes. I love it. So before we tell people how to get in touch with you, praise break. Before we tell people how to get in touch with you, and I want to tell them a little bit more about your book. What are three things, quick things? What are three things that you want everyone to know that you haven't already covered concerning depression, anxiety, and self care? One thing for each, just one quick something.
Depression, like I just said, don't be embarrassed. Reach out to somebody. It doesn't matter if it's just somebody that you want to talk to, somebody that can lend you a lending ear. Don't hold that inside. Talk to somebody. Utilize the resources that are available to you.
Yes.
Talk to someone who is impartial to your situation and that, listen. Sometimes we just want people to listen. I don't need feedback. Just listen to me. Don't be embarrassed. That's what they about depression. Um, Anxiety. When it comes to anxiety, don't don't be the person to say, no, that ain't me. I ain't got no anxiety. I don't know you. Because I'm gonna tell you me right now, if I'm ever put in a situation, like if I'm around a whole big crowd of people, a lot of people, I don't like being around a lot of people. I'll tell you in a minute, my anxiety is about to go on 100. Anybody in law enforcement will tell you when they're around a lot of people, their anxiety will go up if they're around a lot of people. Don't say
Yes.
it ain't me. No, I'm okay. I'm good. No, no. Identify with yourself. If you feel like you have anxiety, again, the same way with depression, is nothing to be embarrassed about.
That's right.
It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Because the thing about it is, whether you suffer from, we all suffer from depression and anxiety to some extent.
Some degree.
Okay, whether it's with a breakup, we lose a job, we lose a family member, that bank account go to a negative balance. To some degree, we all have depression, anxiety. So don't feel like you're alone. I guess that's what I really want to say. Um,
Yes.
you said self care.
Yeah.
When it comes to self care, understand that it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to do for you. It's okay to make yourself happy and not feel guilty about it. Not feel
Yes.
guilty about it. It's
Yes.
human nature. for us to feel like that, especially when we're especially when we've been used to being the go-to person, the one that supports everybody, the one that does everything for everybody.
Yes.
When it comes time, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. When you find what makes you happy, you stick with what makes you happy and you do what makes you happy unapologetically.
Yes. Unapologetically. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. What I want you to do is just briefly talk about the guide and tell people how they can find out when it goes into print.
Okay, so the people who know about the Girlfriend's Guide, y'all know it has been a long journey. I started writing this in 2017. Here it is right here.
Yes.
Every page in this book I wrote from it. Every page was literally a blank canvas.
Yes.
Um, so big. Like I said, everything starts out with in my own words, each chapter.
Yes.
Each week is 13 weeks. And you have your daily reflections, you have your workout planners. Um, in the back you have your mini you have your grocery list, you have your travel planner. It even has a mini vision board in the middle of it. So let me tell y'all how your weekly planner. Let me tell y'all how Satan works. I keep trying me, y'all. Satan. I don't even know why I'm saying his name.
I don't know
Um,
either.
I had a publisher that was ready to print. This is just the manuscript. This is something that they sent me showing me how it would be printed. Well, it wasn't printed the way I wanted it to be printed. And I have had such a hard time trying to find someone to print it the way I want to. And it's either finding someone to print it how I want it, or you have to have the funds to get it printed the way you want it. And I did pre-sales. You were one of them that bought it. And when I realized it wouldn't be printed when it was supposed to, I started issuing refunds to people. I had some people that was upset and rightfully so. But I've always been transparent, here's your money back. But then you had the people who believe in you and would say, no, I'm good. I
Mhm.
don't want it back because I already know it's going to come into fruition. And when it
Yes.
comes, I'm ready.
Yes.
People that I tried to give money back to, they wouldn't take it.
Yes.
But it's coming. It's coming, y'all. It is coming. It is coming.
I
I
know it's
promise.
coming. I
I've
so
had so
they
much
can
going on in my life that
they
it's
they can
just
follow
it's
you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The delay.
right.
So they can follow you on IG at 90 Day Girlfriend's Guide. And
Yeah.
yes, okay. So you can follow Tiffany on IG at 90 Day Girlfriend's Guide right there on your screen. And that way, when we get this printing situation straightened out and it comes to total fruition, then you can purchase the 90 Day Girlfriend's Guide. So I
And
just
my goal is the people who pre-ordered it back when we first came out with it, they're gonna get it for free and they're gonna get their money back.
oh,
As a token of my appreciation. And I know it's
yeah.
coming. It's
Yes, it's
coming.
coming. So that answered Shanika's question about where she can purchase it. So it is coming, and we're gonna keep
It's
her.
coming.
Yes, we're gonna keep her. Okay, my time's running down. Say your final words. It's time to go. It's
Yes.
an hour, sister.
You had put up the IG page on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The L is missing.
Oh, because I can't see it.
TIRL.
Ooh,
Yes,
ooh. So
Sugar
she
D.
Why she? Let's see. Let's see what happens. I knew you was gonna throw it in there. They didn't hear that. Let's go on. I'm taking you off. Say bye to everyone so I can tell them
No,
how they can.
don't take me off. Don't take me off. Y'all, thank you guys for listening to my testimony. Um, if you guys, look, if you need somebody to talk to, somebody that can relate to you, and you just feel like you don't have nobody to talk to, because I've had people, strangers, that have reached out to me, inbox me, inbox me at 90, go to 90 Day Girlfriends Guide, follow me on Instagram, and inbox me, and let's talk. I'll pray with you. I'll laugh with you. I'll cry with
Yes, you
you.
will.
Donna will tell you, I'll talk with you. I got the biggest heart out there, and that's probably why I suffer from depression and anxiety, because I got a big heart. That's never going to change. So if you all need somebody, I'm here. I don't know you, some of you guys, but I love you. And thank you, sister. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, sister. I'm getting ready to take you to the backstage. Don't go anywhere. And I'm going to
Okay.
close out. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Love you, sis. I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I just want to tell you very quickly, if you want to find out more about me and about Life Destiny Solutions, about my coaching, you can go to my website, donnasalee.com. Don't forget those 2 L's and 2 E's. And you can also download on that website my free guide, 5 Steps to Begin Living a Life You Truly Love. If you are not already a part of the Facebook page, the private Facebook group, please go ahead and consider joining Life Destiny Solutions, and that is SOUL, Life Destiny Solutions private Facebook group. And if Facebook isn't your thing and IG is more your jam, I'm trying to build that presence there, but you can find me on IG at Life Destiny Solutions. Okay. And lastly, I want to share with you, if you want to be a guest on the show, I need some more guests. Y'all come on. This is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. We need you to come on here and share your wisdom, your life experiences. Come on and email me at Donna@DonnaSalee.com. That's Donna@DonnaSalee.com. You're going to put live segment in the subject line. Include your name, a little bit about yourself, and tell me what you would like to share with other people out there, especially women, but that you'd like to share your experiences. And if you have a subject matter that you would like to hear someone else discuss, maybe someone else has wisdom and you'd like to hear it on a particular topic, go ahead and email me, Donna@DonnaSalee.com, in the subject line, segment idea. And again, invite and share your friends and family every Thursday night. Invite your triple G's, your good girlfriends, your good guy friends. Women, Wisdom, and Wine goes down every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. And I appreciate you all for coming out. I appreciate you all for this wonderful conversation. And I will see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. Until then, I want you to dream big, but live even bigger. Good night.